Katie was just like, yeah, you guys sound good in there. And like that we can be heard from the studio is an unsettling thought, because when I'm recording lore cards, I am like trying to voice act, and I do like 6-7 takes on some things, and now I have to just remind myself that I do live with the fact that I am in fact embarrassing myself.
Everyone is listening.
Like 6 people listen each time. Almost as many people overhear me in this studio as do over the entire Earth. That's fine.
Hey, what you gonna do?
Well, my feelings about it genuinely boil down to, like, I think that there's something of value in the ones I put out. Like, I try to put out ones that I think are, the best of my meager ability in writing.
Yeah.
But I feel like when they're like my genuine thoughts, and this, I don't know if this is copium or not, but like if it ever does catch on, there will be things for people to go back to.
Yeah.
So like having a backlog of things I worked on doesn't really bother me, and gives me time to, introduce all of these sort of disparate ideas, and then eventually I'll try and like put something together that is like cohesive and meaningful. That I feel like there is a lot of random smatterings of things, but no like central story to follow. So there's not a lot of reason to go looking at all of the sort of side stuff. Which leads me to the general idea of, like, again, since I wanted to record more things that I would have more leeway to do, projects that I want to stretch what I can do in a video, and try and make newer things.
You know what I'm just realizing?
What's
that
up?
we never did in the last episode?
What?
Hey, we're maybe friends.
Oh my goodness. We're maybe friends. Hi.
Hi, we didn't... If you're watching 2 episodes in a row, we didn't say who we were last time, but...
They know, probably.
I mean, I'm assuming...
I'd almost prefer that they don't.
If they're watching Maybe Friends episode, what are we at? Like
I don't know, man.
Like 20 or something?
Somewhere in there.
If they're watching Maybe Friends episode 20 or whatever, they probably have seen at least one other episode.
One would really hope.
If they started with 20, then I have no idea who
hey,
we are.
Hey, if you started with 20, I love you. This one's gonna be about Legends lore. So
this is the lore drop episode.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not the first one.
It's not the first one, but I want to do more.
Yeah.
Because it helps codify my own thinking. A lot of it is like I'm trying to, like, again, a lot of this is like lore and stuff I wrote when I was 6, and I have to like a lot of the things that I was like, oh, there's a plot hole here.
So you just like fine tune some stuff.
Yeah. And that's taken a while, but that's fine.
There is one question I really want to ask.
What do you want to ask?
How long does the Legends universe take? How much time passes from the beginning to the end? From start to finish, from what you have worked out.
So, how long would it take in real life to read it all, or how long in the universe itself?
How much in universe time takes place from the start of the story to the end?
Oh, vastly more than the real universe. Vastly more. So our universe is about 13 billion years old. Mm-hmm. The Legends universe has from its Big Bang equivalent from the moment time started ticking, and there is stuff before that. But from the moment time started ticking, I don't have the exact number yet, because this is one of those things where it's like, does this time scale really make sense? And one of the things that like feels like it might need to be dialed. But as of right now, the Legends universe has probably been around for somewhere in the ballpark of like 70 trillion years. So,
and you figured out 70 trillion years worth of background and story.
Yeah, that like a truly there are civilizations in the Legends universe that are not only millions of years old, but have reached their golden age and ended, that are like, several billion years in age. there are individual civilizations that have outlived our real life universe by orders of magnitude.
Yeah.
Nir-Halad is the oldest living realm in the Legends universe, and that was Nir-Halad was constructed like like its genesis was like earlier than it's been around for more than half of the universe's total age. Just this one place.
Yeah.
That has just like stayed and maintained and survived the test of time.
Yeah.
Repeatedly. And then there are also a lot of like young nations, like young, spunky, like they still haven't figured it all out. Morian is the one that comes to mind. Technically, the Empire is of significant age, but the Empire was built in a much more intentional way that gives it a lot more structure. And the Amizian Empire was built with the intentional inheritance of a lot of the lessons of the past that make it feel older. Like it as a society has a much stronger idea of what it is. And what it's doing, like it has
built on foundations.
Yeah, it has a much more solid identity than something like Morian, which is still very much figuring itself out. And Morian is at, oh my goodness, actually Morian is quite old. Morian is like hundreds of thousands of years old, but Morian is like stuck on this treadmill of outrunning its own politics in a way that makes it like Morian wants to be a monarchy and kind of is, but also really isn't. Like Morian is fighting not being an oligarchy. That like most of the people in Morian feel the oligarchy, but it is pretending to be a monarchy in a way that like the sort of more fantastical elements of the setting care about, like the things that are fantasy in Morian care about the monarchy, and they are the only things that do. Okay. Like there are wizards and magic and deals made with very powerful beings, and they care about the monarch, and no one else does. Morian is I guess sort of just giving you a very rough idea, and like this can be what we talk about. Morian is roughly a spiral. It is a galaxy basically that you enter from this very one specific landing, and then there is a basically chain of 5 solar systems that move in a spiral, and at the bottom of that chain is the
So these empires aren't like planets; they're like whole solar systems.
Yeah, they're like the Star Wars galaxy would be an individual realm in the Legends universe.
Okay.
There are civilizations and planets there are individual planets that have their own civilization, but they are just such small potatoes in sort of the Legends universe and how it works.
So how many of these? So each one solar system is a realm.
Sometimes it's bigger. Sometimes it's a lot bigger.
Okay.
Morian.
How many realms are there?
How many realms are there? I don't know off the top of my head, and it also would depend how you count it. So there are individual planets that are strong enough to be city-states that people care about, like at a realm level where like entire galactic civilizations would like actually care about their commerce and deals with a single individual city or city-state. These cities tend to be the size of, cover an entire planet. And sometimes much smaller than that. Lanthara is a single city with walls even that a lot of people care deeply about, because Lanthara is basically in charge of magic for everybody. So you kind of have to care what they say. And but the Amizian Empire is considered a realm, but it is a genuine empire in that there are individual realms inside of it. There are like full realms with the full like scale and economy of other realms in the universe. that like make up the empire, and I think inside of the empire there's like 7 realms. I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to like count them all off the top of my head because I'd surely be forgetting them. But there's like High Gyarados, Vasavaran. No, sorry, Vasavaran is the capital of Lacrima. But then there's like there's the Adendels, which are kind of their own thing. There's the city-states that are considered themselves part of the empire. Heaven and Hell are technically part of the empire. They were conquered. They were conquered by the empire. Yeah, the empire, like the
what an insane.
Yeah, the council that rules heaven and the king of hell owe their fealty to a particular person.
We conquered Christianity.
Kind of. It's not the first time it's happened, actually. There was this other realm, like before the empire, the greatest realm to have ever existed was this place called Anaheim, and the angels felt like running a crusade. They basically felt like humanity was unclean and needed to be scoured from the earth so that they could start over.
That's a fair opinion to have.
Yeah, and then Anaheim took exception to that, so they fought a war and
Also
won.
Okay.
They beat heaven in a war. So the Empire has a bunch of realms that are all just part of the Empire. And they're given a lot of latitude in how they run themselves and what their laws look like. But they are all part of the Empire. There are a very short answer is that there are there is a modern, like, this is a living, breathing universe where things are still happening. Like, there isn't an end point. So at the point we are now, and depending on how I release it, this might not be true for any readers or viewers for a very long time. It depends on how I kind of want to play it, and that's a decision I haven't made yet. But there's maybe about a third as many realms right now as there used to be time happened, and then at a very specific point, there is a cutoff where the realms are just cut in a third.
What happens to the other 2/3?
They're gone. Some of them never existed.
So they didn't die, they just stopped existing.
Some of them died, and then some of them not only did they stop existing, they never did. They were never real. It is possible, if you are just exploring dead space or deep space in the Legends universe, that you could come across a planet that is it is a tomb world. You could come across a planet covered in metropolises, cities, parks, but the statues would have no faces. There would be no text. There would be no language left behind. That you could decipherably read, and scattered across the surface would be these towering trees of salt that are hundreds of miles wide and thousands of miles tall, with these spindly branches like lightning bolts that sort of like look like cracks in the sky. These dully glowing pillars, trees of white salt that have and you could walk through the streets and find no sign of humanity. You couldn't find a single. There would be barely so much as wear and tear on the streets. It would be difficult. You could tell which streets were most walked. You could find trails through forests that stopped growing. All of the fauna and flora died in such a quick instant, and all of the moisture was ripped from this world so quickly that everything mummified and is stuck as it is, fossilized, with absolutely an archaeologist could not figure out that there is no text. The name of this thing is written nowhere. There is no monument that shows the face of any leader they had. And maybe through architecture alone, you could discover like what type of government they had, maybe, but that's the best you could do. It is a dead realm that never was. There are just planets, and it all happened because of one dude.
They stopped existing because of one guy?
Yep, there is a sort of this is, I guess, spoilers, but there was eventually a war that happened where there was a sort of group of 13 people that were all envisioned as ends of the universe that could happen, and one of them is simply that the universe didn't exist at all, and he has that ability to just unexist things.
He just Thanos' them and just is gone.
It takes more work than that.
Okay.
Realms are ontologically
Also
solid.
a horrible snap. There we go.
Yeah, realms are ontologically solid. One of the things that defines a realm...
What does ontologically mean?
Ontologically means, like, tangible philosophy or power of story. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, the Lance of Longinus, or Longinus, depending on your flavor of Latin, is an ontologically mighty weapon. That it is the spear that hurt Christ. Like, you know, that it stabbed into Christ. And for that reason, that relic is powerful. Not because it was made of some mighty material, not because it was crafted by the gods like Mjolnir, but because it did something important.
Yeah, so it just because of what it happened to do in its...
Yeah, and because of that, it is considered a relic of power of the Christian faith, that it is a reliquary. So if there were one force that is sort of the heart of all magic in the Legends universe, it is that story has power. The more story something has, the more powerful it is, fundamentally. And the thing that makes a realm different from any other passing planetary kingdom or even civilization. There are civilizations. There have been a few civilizations like Star Wars where it's just, we settled these places. There's nothing special about them other than we settled them. A realm is different in that a realm has a sort of, in the anthropological sense, there is a mimetic force that like enshrines. A meme is an idea that reproduces itself, like patriotism or saluting the flag. These are mimetic ideas. They are self-replicating ideas. Patriotism begets more patriotism. It is, right? There are, like, freedom begets itself. There are these sort of mimetic, like, memes anthropologically are like the heart of culture. They are how culture transmits itself. In the Legends universe...
We are here because of Keyboard Cat is what I'm getting from this.
Sure, man. In the Legends universe, story has power, and that can cause an area with enough story and culture to awaken in a way. Not that it's alive, but that it protects its people from the hazards of luck. A realm will never have its star go supernova and wipe out a planet with a civilization on it. That will just never happen. Because the realm law will just keep the stars stable. It will keep planets from, like, drawing out. It will fight back against global warming. That sort of very Ghibli idea of nature will eventually kick industry's ass.
And this will work if people keep these stories and create more stories and kind of keep that culture alive?
Yeah. There are individual people in the Legends universe, like the person who can unexist an entire culture. Like, those kinds of people, when they attack a place with a realm law, the realm law fights back. Like, the heroes will elevate themselves and become that entity will find themselves weaker, such that, like,
interesting manifestation of ideas.
Yeah, and it also, like, realm laws can also manifest as kinds of magic that exist only in one place. As one example, there is a realm, Rivalen, where all of the stars went out. In the same league as the person who unexisted a bunch of cultures, a different one of those same people made every single star in a realm wink out, snuffed like a candle flame. The realm of Rivalen still has forests on it, and not every planet is frozen solid. Because the realm law is fighting back. It is maintaining a kind of homeostasis.
So it's keeping itself alive, even though it doesn't
Yeah,
have stars.
it requires a lot of effort and belief on the part of the people who live there. Realm law is fueled by culture, so people people have to like partake in festivals. They give offerings. They give they sort of like they basically they believe that if they keep doing this thing, their world planets won't freeze. And because they keep believing in that thing, their planets don't. There are places in the realm law is kind of what makes a realm in each given place. Like each society has magic where literally the world works this way. Like if there were a realm law for America, it would probably be that capital is king. It would probably be like
the jokes are writing themselves.
Yeah, but like actually though, like there is magic. There is the sort of most oligarchical place in the Legends of the Universe is Eidolon, a place where you can literally buy anything. And the realm law of Eidolon means you can buy anything. I could give you money, and in return, you could give me your physical strength.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever you could lift, if I paid you for it, I would be able to lift.
If I don't accept the money, do you just not get it?
Yes, but Eidolon's contracts are built. So the one sort of main pillar of Eidolon is that both sides must agree to a contract. But once you do, it is binding. So Eidolon is built around these like oligarchs, and there are individual like states inside of
poverty in this place must
is
be
bad.
Crazy.
Oh, it's a cyberpunk hellhole. Like it's awful to live there. Like yeah, Eidolon is not a great place to live. I wouldn't do it. It is the worst place to be poor in the Legends universe for certain.
So could you buy strength back from someone and give it to someone else?
It would be in the terms of the contract. It's possible to sublet things. If you're poor enough, you probably have to.
Can people travel between realms, yes or no?
Yes.
So if you were born somewhere else and you go to Eidolon, can your strength and stuff be sold?
Yes. But you are party to the realm law of wherever it is you are.
Okay.
But it also does go with you. There's actually a story I've been writing as just a sort of pet project because I like coming up with new characters all of the time about a person who was born in Eidolon, and basically they're all kind of ruled by the oligarchs. They're literally just called the oligarchs. These people who have just amassed so much wealth that they can buy whatever they want to such a harsh degree that they are the de facto government and law of a given area, and sometimes of the entire area. Like the idea of shipping is owned by one dude. So like
oh my God.
It doesn't matter where you are in Eidolon, you are tithing to I forget his name off the top of my head. I think it's like a Tamalo or something. Or that's the name of his company. Regardless, but so there is one dragon, because dragons love wealth, who literally just said,
sense.
I'm going to give all of this area. He went to the wealthiest province in Eidolon and said, I will give you all of my hoard in return for buying all of your firstborns.
Oh.
But he effectively ended up just owning the people. They are actual possessions of him. There is a certain area in Eidolon for which money is worthless.
This is the most dystopian.
Yeah, it is. It is a like.
Wait. So you're born somewhere else. You subscribe to that realm law.
Yeah.
And that realm law, can it follow you if you go to somewhere like Eidolon, or
if you sold something in Eidolon and then someone outside of Eidolon buys it, it's still gone. It's still not yours. You don't own it.
Yeah.
Again, a great example of this. The sort of story of
the realm law apply to the people in the realm, or the people who believe in that realm law?
The people in the realm. It is a physical space.
Yeah, so if you're
yeah.
no longer in that realm, even if you believe in it, you can't.
Well, the force of the realm law sticks to whatever is from it because it is
Oh.
part of your culture, right? If you sold something, that is a transaction done under the culture of Eidolon.
So if you spend your life traveling to different realms, can you get a bit of realm law from everywhere?
Very possible. A lot of people have done it. Some people, like there's a group of people who sort of, it's very complicated, but they were there before the universe existed, and they go around actively not participating in any of the realm laws.
That
yeah.
kind of sounds like a smart thing to do.
Well, depending on where you are, it could be a very good thing. Like Rivalin's realm law keeps it functioning. Indoquin's realm law, Indoquin has a group of people called the Devoid, which are effectively emotionless, soulless, almighty gods, who effectively have telekinesis on a level that it is indistinguishable from magic, where they could create a black hole in their palm by thinking hard enough. And this group of people are utterly obsessed with a celestial body that they called the sarcophagus, that they refuse to do anything. Like they're like, we must solve the sarcophagus. There's this like supermassive black hole in the dead middle of Indoquin that the Devoid just care so much that they have built their civilization beneath its event horizon because they can think hard enough to just disobey physics or geometry. Like they can just out telekinesis the warping of space-time by gravity. And the realm law of Indoquin effectively states the people of Indoquin are under the Devoid's protection, so to speak. They have established deals with the Devoid that make it so that Indoquin is a wildly safe place to live, because anytime anybody tries to invade it or does anything, the Devoid, who can again think black holes into existence, just wipe it out. They are pretty safe having some of the most wildly destructively powerful races in the universe just hanging around this one place. And
just hanging around.
yeah, but the people of Indoquin have effectively adopted them as gods.
Fair enough.
But well, here's the thing: is I do mean adopted. The Devoid didn't want to be gods. They care only about the sarcophagus, and they have effectively bent the entire industrial might of its people to try and solve it. They have created miles-tall observation outposts that literally leave individual planets' atmospheres so they can try and observe the sarcophagus from a distance. They have outsourced, like, the astronomic, the astrological, effort of gathering data to the people of Indoquin in return for certain deals. And the people of Indoquin have had this sort of idea. It all starts around with this one king, Osidar. I can never remember which it is. But effectively, this one king, he's one of three brothers, his kingdom gets taken over, and he meets one of the Devoid and falls in love with them, and sort of ends up, so his partner ends up becoming the de facto queen of Indoquin, because who's going to fight this person? And so this idea ends up coming about where the people effectively, like, this woman fell in love with Osidar, and is trying to help him.
I thought the Devoid were feelingless.
Exactly, which is, it's difficult for her. Like, so the king ends up plying her with art and song and murals and festivals to try and show her how beautiful life is outside of this place. And the people of Indoquin see it work. And they basically, so Indoquin is the realm of art. It is where the most avant-garde and artistically minded people, like, art is such a definitive part of Indoquin culture. They drink the hardest, they party the loudest, their fireworks are the biggest, and the idea behind everything they do is that they literally want to make art that can be seen from space, because they know the Devoid are looking down on them, and their goal is to humanize God. they are literally trying to like seduce the gods with art. They want to make them interested in color. There's one of them who is basically she rules, and there's this one devoid who named Avina who rules a city that makes alcohol. The city is literally a giant like grapevine, so massive they built buildings onto it. It is like a singular tree, the sap of which is just wine. And they continuously make her new alcohol, and she just lives in a drunken stupor, like watching over these people.
You know who this brings to mind.
Yeah, I know. Made before I met Abe-chan, I promise. But
it doesn't matter. Can Abe-chan be a part of this? Can there be an Abe-chan insert?
That'd be fun. There isn't as of yet. No, but there's like a lot of like Indoquin is like outwardly very Greek. It's all about like island chains and sort of like temperate weather and growing like things. People are very like it's very like sort of classically constructed in terms of like actual architecture and like what people wear and dress, but there are like Indoquin is so vibrant and alive with art because they are trying to humanize their own gods. They party and they hold rituals and ceremonies for the gods knowing that the gods might not be listening, but hoping that if they compose a song beautiful enough, if they make a painting gorgeous enough, it might touch the mind of a feelingless monster and make them more human.
That is also another fascinating part of this whole thing.
That's the hope, is that each individual realm is fascinating. But like that, but that is the realm law of Indoquin, is that if you make art, the gods will see it. So like art is given more power. Paintings are harder to burn. They literally just don't. Once a painting is completed, it is more difficult to destroy than solid steel because the realm requires it to be that way. So like pigment can literally, if you paint, you could paint someone healthy, and you can only do that in Indoquin. Like that's so like art has a more like tangible place in people's life because of the realm.
You've mentioned this place before. I feel like I've heard. This sounds
maybe
familiar to me.
yeah.
I feel like you've mentioned something like this.
Indoquin is one of the more easy ones to communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but so each realm has its own thing going on. Like the realms are defined by the realm law. So like Rivalin, for example, has a covenant around a grail and 12 sainted knights that defend it. So Rivalin is all about its relationship with religion. Indoquin is all about its relationship with art. Eidolon is all about its relationship with money and ownership. Specifically ownership, not so much money. It is like, again, there's a duchy in Eidolon where the currency is just people, because actual currency is not as valuable, and one person owned enough of it that they could actually create a bank. There is a bank for people. Not like the people owned by the bank are walking around living their lives, but the paper that holds their ownership is traded and bargained for. So what the ownership, you might not know who owns you. Someone could walk up to you out of the blue and say, I defaulted on my loan, you're going to go work over there because your new owner wants you to.
That's such... Oh my
Again, Eidolon is very cyberpunk. It's very how the system is, how like special interests are not upholding their bargain and are just running the place. And there is no government strong enough to like hold back moneyed interest. So it runs wild in Eidolon.
So here's a question not so much about the nature of the universe, but the nature of how you tell stories about this universe. Is the stories you want to tell about the Legends universe, is it telling the story of like the history of this universe, or telling stories that happen within the universe?
I am trying to do the first thing because that is what I think will get people invested. Is these are the stories about how this became this way, and I think those are probably interesting stories. But most of the time, all of the stories in the Legends universe are let's make people in this place and see what their lives would be like. What if this thing happened in this place? It's almost predominantly the first thing, or the second thing rather. It is like this is like it is a living universe that evolves. Like Anaheim was not a place that was made intended to be destroyed. It was again, this is a 20-year-old universe. There was a time when we were playing with the universe when sorry, I feel like I need to hiccup. There was a time in the universe where Anaheim was just starting out, where somebody did a thing that caused Anaheim to be made. And then later, Anaheim made decisions that caused it to fall. And that's kind of repeatedly the case. It is a living place where people do things that cause things to happen.
Well, if you're trying to do something with like the overall history, it's got to be like an unwieldy story to tell. Like it sounds like there's a thousand.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really annoying.
Like there's 1,000 different like places and things to consider, and like some have to be more important than others, and
it's unbelievably frustrating because it feels almost impossible to start any story because the context for everything is kind of really important. Because all of before any interesting story happens, any story I would like to tell happens, it is a living universe built because people in the universe did things. And so people did things that caused this new event to happen. And so I feel like I am always starting the story without that context. Why is this way? Is always like one of the more interesting things to happen. The book I am trying to write, Crown for No King, all happens because there is a person who hates the status quo, fundamentally. They hate it so much that they choose to do something about it, which really, so the story starts when they start doing something, but they did it because of how awful everything is. So it's hard to communicate this is what needs to be changed. And whenever I read the draft I wrote, that is what I inevitably come to, is how do I communicate that this place is difficult? This place is like, this is a terrible place for people to live. I am having a hard time communicating why this needs to change, why these events need to happen. And I don't feel like I am an apt enough writer to demonstrate that in a way that feels fluid without taking you out of the story that's being told. And that's tricky.
I just think like you have 1,000 ideas, and if you're when you gotta start this thing, you gotta whittle them down to like the bare essentials to start, and you add.
I am doing my best, but anytime I start a story, I am starting in the middle.
Yeah.
Like always. And that's really hard. If I could tell the story of this is how the universe began, because there is that story. This is what happened. This is why it happened. These are all of the reasons it happened. But it feels more satisfying to me not to know, if that makes sense. And I could just be wrong about that. And hopefully there's enough content out there that you can pick which story to start with. And hopefully there will be a fan base who can solve this problem for me, because I clearly don't know the answer. Like, I'll just say that flat out. I don't know the best way to start this story. I don't. So that is going to be up to, once there is enough story out there for people to start learning about it, it's going to be up to them to recommend to other people, because
where to begin? Because
any list I give somebody would be flawed. I'm just going to, that's just how it is. I don't know the answer, or I'd have one and I'd be doing it. So yeah, this is going to be, unfortunately, this is a problem that other people smarter than I am are going to have to deal with once the story's out there. But yeah, like the stories I want to tell, like, again, I have all these like pet stories that are small and not attached to things, and those can be told independent of everything, but they don't give you the context of what is in this universe. There's this, I had this idea for one character, and I was like, he was fun, and I had all these other pet ideas for characters that I was like, let's put them all into place and see what happens. And it's becoming a more interesting story. It's funny in that it is a story I was telling myself to get away from the effort of making all of these other stories make sense. Like, I tell myself these stories for fun. I imagine things for fun. It's what I do. And it's becoming interesting and articulated enough that I should probably write it and release it. But they're like a story of literally just a guy from Autolon, or he was originally from Autolon, where effectively what happens is he is from a commune of people trying to outrun their realm law because it is bad for them. Like, being owned by people just sucks. So they just went into the woods, dug themselves into caves, and started, like, coming up with, like, these small communes that are just trying to abolish the idea of currency, just not interact with ownership at all, and avoid the eyes of the people who own the things that care about them. And they ended up, the end result of that idea was that they are insurgents. They are, like, frankly, terrorists. Because they're more freedom fighters. Insurgents is the better idea, but, like, to get food, they have to attack supply lines to get their food. They have to, and like, Audilon is a high enough technology setting where there are fighter jets and planes and mechs and spaceships, and, like, you can't fight back against that with guerrilla tactics alone. People could just glass the forests they live in from space. Yeah. So you need to, like, get yourself, like ground to space missiles to deter people from attacking you, and you have to kind of do it quietly and just avoid the eyes of, like, it is hard to be quiet because it is an attractive enough idea that a lot of people are looking for them, and at one point debts get called in, and you can't outrun the realm law, unfortunately. So you're dealing with a lot, and there's effectively this one character who is born in this kind of commune, is born an insurgent, just flat out child soldier. Yeah. Child soldier fighting the government, like fighting against the government, just directly.
So if I were to say that's where you first story you officially tell, it's set in Audilon. It's basically this conflict. You introduce the idea there are other realms out there. Yeah. Their realm laws are a thing, but the story at the start is confined to Audilon. And in sequels, you can build on that.
That's the problem, is that the story isn't confined to Audilon.
I feel like that's... what's the first thing that makes you think, okay, well, we also have to factor in this, and this?
This is the one story where I feel like you could maybe get away with mostly not. Maybe.
So I'd say that's where you'd start, right? Because you can introduce the world, you can introduce the primary conflict. It sounds like the easiest way to build a foundation that you can introduce people to the rest of the universe off of, you know.
So
at one point, and you're like that.
It is. I don't know.
I know it sounds like I'm oversimplifying.
No, I agree. Which this story would probably good, but I want to introduce this bigger concepts. And this story is so contained; it doesn't go anywhere else. There's no sequel that would lead you to a new idea. It is dealing with this whole thing, and also I'm really kind of I don't know where the story is going. I don't. I'm just kind of telling it to myself for fun. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what the end point is. I barely know what the conflict is. Like it's fun, but I need to know where it's going before I really tell it. So there are other stories that I do, like Crown for No King. I know the beginning, middle, and end because it's very important, and I feel like the context of Crown for No King would give you ammunition enough to deal with a lot of the other stories that follow it and would leave footprints that matter to you. But this story is just so different. It's, again, this insurgent kid. They hire mercenaries from another realm. Those mercenaries wipe out the commune, basically. And one of them sees this child soldier and says he'd be useful and takes him back with him. Takes this kid to into Revolin, Revolin is like the realm of knights and honor, and it has like families that are passing down traditions of honor. Who literally, it is a caste system where you are part of the military caste, and you are defending it from horrors from beyond the sky, and tries to basically take this person from this place where they were fighting their own government and tries to introduce honor to them. And it's just a fun fish out of water story for this guy, who basically his idea is that, well, if I do well enough, I can buy myself back. The person who brought me here bought bought the contract that owns me, and told me I can own myself if I get through officer school, basically. If I can successfully do that, I can be my own man. And that's a fun story to me. And it's fun to put that person who is so deeply distrustful of all authority into a place where people are glad to swear fealty, where it is, about knights and honor and all of that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it is a fun story to me. And it is really the sort of the, I don't know, there was this one thing I thought of that I was like, oh, I like this a lot, actually, of just this sort of moment of Romero being handed the contract by this very respected general, this very high up, incredibly respected, upright, never there, not a single black mark to his name, buys Romero, says, I'm going to adopt you, I'm going to send you to school because I feel like Revolin needs, the Cathedronic military caste needs blood like yours. That we need you, you are the kind of person that I feel like this military needs, and it's my job to try and make this military better. And so he puts him in the school, and everyone respects this man. They go, you're Revolin kind of innately hates outsiders. They really don't like expatriates. It's like they're a caste system with thousands of years of history. They hate anybody coming in. Absolutely hate them. Very, very insular, very isolated, a very isolationist place. And so this guy comes in, and they really don't know what to think of him because this guy really respects them, says he's cool, but they don't respect him. And so everyone who gives Romero, they call him Romeo because it's a sort of the Revolinization of his name. They go all right, well, the people who are giving Romeo a chance are giving him a chance because of the person who's sponsoring him, and Romeo himself hates this man. And I had this idea of speaking to one of his actual children, just says, how dare you say that about my father? And Romeo just, me thinking it through, Romeo just kind of sighs and goes, listen, I can't respect anyone who owns people. He owns me. I cannot respect
What
him.
happens to the people who are owned if the person who owns them dies?
Depends. That's written into the contract. They don't make half-hearted contracts in Adelan. It depends on probably the duchy you're from, because the duchies are all kind of, the oligarchs are called the Dukes of Pacts, because it is their job to determine any time that there is a conflict inside of the verbiage of a contract.
They're there to make sure these pacts are watertight, essentially.
Basically, that's they not that they're watertight. In fact, sometimes it's better if they're not, because one of the best ways to get something in Adelan is to make a faulty deal, not have the other party realize it, have that deal go through, and then bribe the person who gets to adjudicate it. That is a not uncommon way of getting business done in Adelan. Because if there is a hierarchy of judges and adjudicators and praetorians who, if this contract falls through, we defer to this person's judgment. And if it's not made explicit who gets to adjudicate the contract, then the answer is always the Duke of this pact. Whoever, whatever, again, if it's about a trade, then the Duke of, again, the person who owns the idea of transportation or shipping, it inevitably falls to him. And then he could say, sell the adjudication of this pact to somebody. You can own an individual contract, you can own an individual transaction. So it inevitably, the answer in Adelan is always, can you give the person what they want? It's not always money, but it is, what does this person want? And sometimes one thing you could do, for example, is you can literally sell the number of years left you have to live. Someone can just buy up your lifespan. And so Adelan is fundamentally, stories told in Adelan usually end up being about desire, because I think the most fun characters, this place exists, and if I want to tell, I guess to answer your question, if I want to tell a story in this place, well, what would be interesting to me? What is a fun question to ask, and to figure out how these characters would answer it? Because that's usually what I do. Let's make a fun character. what's a fun question for this character to have to answer? And so for Eidolon, it usually ends up being what happens when you cannot buy the thing you want. Like, what happens if somebody wants not to be lonely, or, for example, to be accepted? You can buy respect until the money runs out, and no one is more aware of that than the people who are successful in Eidolon. You have to be aware of the value of everything. And so the value of somebody's friendship is known. So if you want your father's acceptance, that's not something you can buy. Like in the realm where you can buy literally everything, you still can't buy that. You can't buy the love of somebody who doesn't love you. You just can't. You have to find more creative ways to do it. And so that tends to be where the system breaks down. And it becomes more interesting to me.
So I'm right away. I'm really interested in Eidolon. I want to see stories like exploring this place.
Hopefully, the goal of every single realm is that every realm should be an interesting place. That hopefully is just what it is. Like like all of the realms are really interesting to me. Like that's Eidolon's realm law. Morian is all about unbridled freedom. Morian is all about the frontier and owning whatever you can get your hands on, and like making a name for yourself by yourself. Like the people who are successful in Morian are self-made people, but then there's these like massive, like effectively American like oil barons, who like you're kind of trying to outrun. Kyre, I guess Kyre's more about freedom than Morian is, but Morian is all about the opportunity to make something of yourself. Morian is the idea of the gold rush, the frontier, like there are just abandoned ruins from civilizations that have fallen, and if you can conquer that ruin, it's yours. You can make yourself a noble by beating a dungeon's face, or being the first person to get to it, being the first person to decipher texts or conquer. Also, there's just dinosaurs running around. Like it is a hostile environment you want to adventure in. It's all about that's what it is. Morian is about adventure.
Okay,
Kyre is about like freedom and like other things. Revolin is about like honor and tithes and sort of the like the lessons of people who came from there. Nirhalad is a place that's all about like being defended by spirits and spirits attached to, basically each bloodline has its own religion, and so for these gods to face each other, families do, and there's this like deep winding road of politics and like ancient spirits finding new like people to pact with, and so old gods trying to make a resurgence and being smothered by like it. I think the Legends universe is an interesting place. Like we should end end soon, but I think the Legends universe is an interesting place. And the idea is that each realm individually is interesting.
Yeah. You just gotta find that start point.
And I think I roughly have, and I'll just tell the stories that I think I can tell, and I'm just gonna tell the stories I want to tell. Like that's what I think the answer to this is that I right now I feel like I'm writing the stories I have to write, and that's annoying. So if I tell the stories I want to, hopefully it'll be easier, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, this has been the
Legends lore drop episode.
So I hope it was fun. We are way past time, so I don't know. Is the Legends universe interesting yet?
Yeah, definitely interesting. It is such a remarkable accomplishment of creativity just in its little embryonic form right now.
You
can't really call it embryonic.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a pain, is what it is. It's a pain. But thanks for watching. Legitimately, if you got to here, I hope this is interesting to you. I'm trying to do things so that you guys can actually reach out and touch this place and like and you know, like
reach out
really
and go to Eidolon and sell your soul.
Like souls in Eidolon are kind of the hardest thing to sell. There was one of the Dukes of Pax had the forethought to make it very difficult. Like,
Okay. So
because
someone brought forethought to that place.
technically they're the quiet Duke of Pax. They're a character who they're actually one of the people who tries their best not to interact with realm laws at all. There's this one character whose goal it is to go to every budding realm and every government, and their one thing is that they just want to make laws that are good. That's the only thing they want to do.
That's good.
This character is, I love them. They're such a hater. They really are just like a shit poster at heart, where they hate the law of everywhere so fundamentally. They're like, no, basically their fundamental belief is that you shouldn't need laws. People should just be good. Laws are for not trusting people, and their basic belief is that law will inevitably become a corrosive force for the people under it. And so they are doing their best to live that life, and like they are a defense attorney for they're like, I want to defend Hitler. I want to defend Genghis Khan. Why? Because if your law is good, they should be tried. If your law is good enough, they should actually serve time for it. Like, and if I can get them off, if I can get, like, if whatever judicial system you have to overlook the biggest monsters of your society, then your law sucks. And the way I'm going to show you your law sucks is by proving it to you by getting these people free. And if I can't, you did a good job. Like, so literally,
You get a gold star.
Yeah, they're walking around trying to defense attorney all of the worst criminals and people they can find to prove to people that their law is terrible and needs to be refined. And they fundamentally hate the law so much that they became lawyer. They became like the lawyer of everywhere, and they study the law of everywhere. And as soon as Eidolon's realm law took place, they went there and they were like, you can't buy souls. You can't do it. I'm not gonna let that happen. Like, this is such a bad thing. It must not. So
Ironically hilarious.
yeah, so no, but they're just a little hater, and they're running around, and one of their best friends believe that the law is a beautiful confluence of the people's will, and that cultures inform law and laws should be followed. That if you follow the law to its end, it will inevitably save itself, even if systems are flawed. And so there's this one person who is older than time, trying to just like follow all the laws and have a good time and just like believing in people, and this other person who believes in people but not the people in charge of them. Like they believe that people are fundamentally good and should just be given as much freedom as possible, and their sister believes that laws are the culmination of people trying to be better than their worst impulses, and therefore laws should be fundamentally obeyed. And they don't argue, like they're not opposing forces. They just they consider themselves this group considers themselves family. And there's 8 of them or 7 of them, I think, and they all kind of are doing different things, but 2 of them really love these 2 like more conceptual ideas, and they don't fight each other. They never go to war. In fact, they're always working together. But you have these characters running around doing things, and it's fun.
Good lord.
They're kind of like an Illuminati of not like they actively don't want to be in charge of anything, but they do love seeing people's work. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's a much more complicated thing that we probably shouldn't get into. The very short version is that there is a group of 7 people who were the effectively subcontractors building the universe. The creator of the universe had an idea of how they wanted to make it, and then they gave a blueprint to a bunch of, I guess you'd call them very powerful mages, except not really. Some of them really suck at magic.
And one of them's just a lawyer.
Well, yeah, but the person who was a lawyer was the person in charge of creating free will. Mm-hmm. Like that is, yeah. Okay. They literally made free will.
So Jesus.
Yeah, they were given the blueprint for free will by the creator of the universe. The creator wanted the world to be imperfect, so they didn't make it with their own hand. They contracted it out to people that they made imperfect. People volunteered, these flawless beings. The creator made each of them flawed and then left it to them to create their vision. And those people hang out. They're friends.
Yeah.
And the way they see it, they're retired is the way they see it. They view it as, by creating the universe, we've finished our job, and the creator doesn't want our hands on it. Like, our fingerprints were left in the design. We were literally just trying to build the creator's design as best as we could, and we did our best. And now we are going to, like, we're just going to see what happens. We love this place. We want to see the results of our labor. The creator made us flawed intentionally so that we would make these imperfect things that we would get to, that would surprise us. That was the creator's really one and only goal, was to be surprised. The kind of end goal of the creator of the universe was that they wanted it to be full of peers, not subjects. God wanted people who could surprise them, who could out-argue them, make things greater than themselves. That was like capital G God's fundamental idea, and these people were made flawed to try and execute that vision. And so, like, one of the people was in charge of chemistry. Like, they were fundamentally in charge of, like, the periodic table and all of its interactions.
You have these 7 subcontractors making free will and chemistry.
It might be
physics.
7. It might be more. Aeul, sin, virtue. By the way, like, sin and virtue are the people who care about law and freedom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The name sin came before the word for sin. The word for, like, like biblical sin is the same in every single language, because they're all referencing this one guy who is just a hedonist. His name actually wasn't Sin, it was Erunen, but he changed it because he was like, I don't want my name to be bigger than this project. And then then this other person, like, saw him do that and did something similar so that he wouldn't be alone. And she did come second. She chose the name Virtue to reflect the name Virtue. But Sin's name was literally just like, people were like, there's this dude who sucks, and so they named, because he's a hater. He's a hedonist. He's running around telling everybody they're wrong and telling them that, like, free will is better than the law, and he kind of accidentally started a lot of rebellions because he like egged people on to burning their own countries down on accident, and he was like, well, don't do that. That's bad. Don't do that, but do this other thing. And so, like, basically, like, the way, when I say he invented free will, he invented literal sin. He invented the wrong choice. He invented the opposite of virtue, because without the wrong choice, the right choice doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So he created things like murder and theft and lying. Like,
so he really is just kind of an asshole.
He's not. Like, he very specifically designed those things because he believes in righteousness. He
wanted to give righteousness a point.
He didn't want to. He was told to. He was a subcontractor. The idea of sin was already, like, made by the creator. He's the person who carried it out, and he carried it out to the best of his ability. He made the darkest humanity could be an open-ended question, because he felt like there had to be no depth to the depravity someone could reach. Because if it wasn't, heroism and kindness would never matter. All the good things don't matter. Sin.
That's another really interesting thing to look at.
Sin loves virtue. He goes out of his way to be kind. He just does a lot of things because he thinks it's funny that, like, he hates the idea of, like, currency. That he thinks that, like, bartering makes sense. He is actually the wealthiest person in the entire setting because he kept going, okay, if you want there to be terrible deals that make people infinite wealth, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna, like, his love language, the version of him, like, going, hey, buddy, I think you messed up, is by doing the thing that breaks your ideology.
Exploiting the flaws.
To show you its flaws. He shows the flaws in things by, like, absolutely fucking with them and like, testing them to their absolute limit. Like, that's his way of showing love. And so he is, like, the loudest member of, they're just simply called the council. But, like, the idea is that they are hands-off, they're not overseers. They're not enforcing any law in the universe. They're just watching it happen. They're just retired people enjoying the fruits of their labor. Sin is the one exception to that, where he's going around going like, you should do differently. You should do this differently.
So that being said,
Yeah.
our outro has taken over 10 minutes now.
Yeah, I'll leave it with this, is that, like, to give you an idea of the kind of person Sin is, when he realized that people were using his name as the word for biblical sin, he thought that was hilarious. He loved that people did that. He's like, that's awesome. Like, that's so funny. like he considers it a really funny joke. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. He's just this really good-natured, good-hearted, really obnoxiously loud, just very opinionated person. And
He's a good guy with a warped sense of humor.
yeah, he is one of my favorite people in the entire setting because he is inevitably fun to make stories about. He has a wife, actually, and he became interested in his wife because she kidnapped him. She basically kidnapped him and was like, I bet I could hold you for ransom for some immortal beings. And he thought about it and was like, that's awesome. Here's how you keep me from being found. Like, he assisted his kidnapper because he was like, this just sounds like a great time. Yeah, let's use all of my wealth.
I am digging your vibes.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, you know what? You kidnapped me. Here's the key to my fanciest car. Here's a bunch of summer homes nobody knows about. You could stash me in and just live the high life. Let's do this. Yeah, I believe in free will. I believe in your ability to do whatever you want. Absolutely, I'm gonna uphold that to the point of somebody kidnapping me. Like, that sounds like free will to me. Go for it. Yeah. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Do it. Like, and so he ended up becoming really interested in this person who went out of her way to kidnap him and hold him for ransom. Like, that was the kind of thing that caught his interest.
And that's how I met your mother.
Yeah, basically. He doesn't have kids because he realizes he would be a terrible father.
Okay, so that's good.
He's like, yeah, I shouldn't be teaching anybody anything. But anyway, it's a cool universe. I hope that there's enough about it that you guys become interested. It's fun. Yeah, we should really get going.
And hopefully there'll be a story on this eventually.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's more content for you guys to enjoy, but I know that this is a tax on Will's schedule.
I do have... Oh, so I am late for things.
All right. Have a good time, everybody.
Goodbye. I'm not fucking